morning, Vince Welch, Vince's Wood and Wonders. Thanks so much for stopping into the shop. Thought I would take a few minutes and talk about a new product that we have available. Actually, we've had it for quite some time. I just haven't advertised it. I haven't marketed it a whole lot. And that is CBN Wheels. They seem to be the craze nowadays. But they're a bit of an investment. And the question is, does one really need CBN wheels? And if so, how beneficial are they going to be to your turning? Well, let's talk about it. CBN wheels coming up. Don't go anywhere. All right, CBN wheels. Let's just talk about grinding wheels in general. You know, for years we've been using aluminum oxide wheels. Different colors, sometimes they're pink, sometimes they're white, sometimes they're blue. I have a couple of different ones here. This is a white grinding wheel that I've had for a number of years. More frequently though, I've been using, it was a blue wheel, and I got this from the One Way folks up in Canada. Just an excellent wheel. I mean, I've had this wheel for, years, at least 10 years. And, well, you can see, I don't know how much material has been removed. Let me measure it here and we'll see. Started off as an 8-inch wheel, and it's currently about a 7 3/8 in diameter. Yeah, 7 3/8 in diameter. Now I've had this wheel, been using this wheel for years, at least a decade. So, and granted, I'm not out here every single day turning. I like to be, but I'm not. But and also too, I'd like to say that, hey, once you have shaped your tools, unless you're reshaping your tools often, completely changing the profile of your tools, what I call grinding, I tend to call touching up, because you're just removing minimal surface material. Now, with that said, CBN wheels, I've got an 80 grit wheel here, and one thing that's beautiful about these wheels is that they're not going to get smaller in size. They're going to remain 8 inches, and that's good. Also, you're not going to be taking on the dust from the wheel, the dust coming off of the wheel. There won't be any dust for you to inhale or to breathe, so that's a good thing. Also, because this new CBN wheel is not going to be removing material off of the wheel, once you make your adjustments and you have your settings for grinding your tools, they should stay in place, because the wheel itself will not be getting smaller in diameter. So that's a huge benefit. But there's also a huge misconception, I believe, out there, and that is that if you get a CBN wheel, it's one and done. And what I'm here to say is, don't be fooled, because a CBN wheel is a tool, and it becomes worn like any other tool, and eventually it very well may need to be replaced. This CBN material is not forever lasting. It gets worn. Now, what I can tell you is that I did a lot of research before I decided to carry CBN wheels. And actually, I've had a bunch of CBN wheels. I've tried a lot of them. Spent a small fortune. Got a number of different CBN wheels around here. And I can tell you that all CBN wheels are not the same. They fall into the same category as most everything in life. And it tends to be, you get what you pay for. They all tend to start about the same. They feel sharp, They remove material quickly. But what I found is that CBN material tends to wear, and on some of the wheels that are out there, what you end up with in short time is a wheel that is less sharp than it should be, than it could be. So I started carrying CBN wheels, and what I did was struck up a deal, and Dave was gracious enough to allow me to carry his product. And you know, if you know Dave, you know his reputation is stellar. He takes the high road, and the products that he offers are of the best. If you haven't tried one of his bowl gouges or one of his detailing tools, do yourself a favor and place an order, because they're absolutely great. You know, so these wheels are a little bit more expensive, but you get what you pay for. And with that said, one thing that I like about these wheels is that it's 1.5 inches in diameter. And there are wheels out there that are maybe just 1 inch wide, 1.25 inches. To me, it was night and day difference. Being able to use that extra width on that wheel, I was able to focus on the point of contact rather than grade. And that's something that, if you're going to make the investment, if you're going to step up, why not? We also have these wheels in radius edge fashion as well. And I can show you one of those. Hang on. Okay, so this is the 80 grit radius edge wheel. And what's really nice about this is if you are grinding or needing to sharpen your tips to maybe your hollowing tools, something like that, to be able to come right over the edge is really nice, as opposed to having a flat edge. But also you have a flat edge here, so that you're able to take care of your bowl gouges. So it really offers maybe the best of both worlds in some respects. So we've got the radius edge wheels, and we've got the straight edge wheels, both 1.5 inches in width. And the grit range, I think we've got 80, 180, 360, 600 grit wheels. We've got the whole gamut. Generally, one question that people often ask is, which wheels should I get? Well, again, it's subjective. For shaping, for reprofiling your tools, I would go with an 80 grit. If you have the profile that you'd like, and you are thinking, hey, I'm just going to be touching up my wheels, I would go with a 180 grit wheel. If you work with mostly skews, and scrapers, you might want to look at the 360 or even the 600 grit wheel. All depends. If you had to start off with one, the 180 wheel is probably, the 180 grit wheel is probably the best seller by far. Hey, let's take a few moments, see these wheels in action. Let's do that. Okay, so we're here at the grinder, and I've got a 180 grit wheel here. And usually, this is my go-to wheel, 1.5 inches wide. I touch up all my tools generally with this. Sometimes I'll use my 80 grit if I am working with a scraper that I want a real high edge on, or I'm reshaping the material. But this is one of Dave's gouges here, and I've actually got it in one of D-Way's handles. If you know me, you know that I'm a fan of the rubber handle type of thing. I don't care for the coldness of a straight aluminum oxide or steel type of handle. So I always like the rubber handle, and got Dave's tool in here. Let's go ahead and touch this tool tip up. Also too, I've got, this is a 1-horse Rikon grinder. I got this at my local Woodcraft Let's not forget about them. And this one thing I will tell you in regards to grinders and the CBN wheels, if you remember what I mentioned earlier, the CBN wheels are a lot heavier. And because of that extra weight, I don't know how good they are on, say, for example, a half horse. If you're using a half horse, what I would always do is give them just a quick turn before you turn it on. I think that possibly the extra weight is a bit tough on the grinder as they're trying to get up to speed. But that's just my personal thought. Nothing to back that up. Just my observation, my thought here. So anyway, with this 1 horsepower grinder, about 2 seconds we're up to speed. And let's just touch this up. Yep, we're up to speed. Touch it up here. Comes with a nice LED light. This Rikon grinder does. Got an area over here I just want to touch up. And again, it's the lightest of touch in regards to the CBN wheels. You don't need to press hard, but just an excellent touch. The tool is not warm at all. You can still handle it. Very little heat with CBN wheels. So a couple of advantages there in regards to using CBN wheels. Right. So anyway, just a little discussion in regards to CBN wheels, some things to look forward to, some things maybe not in your best interest. One thing I can tell you is that there are a lot of professionals that are using aluminum oxide wheels. They haven't made the switch. And that's because you don't need, do you need CBN wheels? Probably not. You're going to be just fine with aluminum oxide wheels. We've used them for years and they've worked fantastic. CBN, it's a nice upgrade. Is it essential? Do you have to have it? Absolutely not, so don't be fooled. So to recap, aluminum oxide wheels, priced right, they work. They've been working for years. They do need to be redressed, and they do get smaller as you continue to use them over time. They do tend to heat the tool a little bit, and you do have to be a little bit cognizant of that as you're sharpening. But if you've been sharpening for any length of time, you already probably have that under control. There's nothing that you cannot do with a CBN wheel that you can't do with a aluminum oxide wheel. On the other side of the coin, CBN wheels, they stay cool. They tend to keep the tools a little bit cooler as you are sharpening them. They tend not to get smaller in diameter. You do not have the dust that you would have from aluminum oxide. They will wear. CBN wheels do wear, so do not be fooled. If you're out there every day for multiple hours, you know, in a matter of time, your CBN wheel is going to wear, and you know, it may come to a point where you actually need to replace that wheel. And I think that people are of the mindset right now that once they have a CBN wheel, it's one and done, and that they never have to replace it. I would tend to question that. So CBN wheels, they're here to stay. Fantastic if you're looking for an investment, looking to up your sharpening, your grinding game. Fantastic. You can also start off with just one CBN wheel. Again, the most common wheel is the 180 grit, followed probably by the 80 grit. For people who are using skews and scrapers, they might tend to go with the 360 grit or even the 600 grit. So a lot of options. We're carrying CBN wheels. Very nice benefit. Nice to have these wheels. Is it essential? No, that's not essential. You're going to do just fine. You're going to be able to sharpen just fine with a regular CB or a regular aluminum oxide wheel. But you know, if you are in the market, you're looking, you have questions in regards to CBN Wheels, you're thinking about CBN Wheels, feel free to reach out to us. We're at Vince at vinceswoodandwonders.com. Also, toll free, 877-284-8969. Now, we do get a lot of those telemarketer calls. I mean, I got somebody said that my social security number's been locked up, and I'm going to be screwed here if I don't call them and give them some money. And then my student loans, which I don't even have any student loans anymore, those are going to be going into default. Let's see, they're going to lower my interest rate. And the one that really got me recently was talking about senior citizen stuff, you know, 55 and older. That one, I didn't care for that one. I actually called them back. But what are you going to do? Anyway, leave me a message. I'll call you back. If I don't recognize the number, I just am a little leery about picking up. Hopefully you can understand. But it's been a lot of fun. We're going to be spinning some stuff. We've got some new products coming in, some new stuff to talk about, a whole lot going on. I'm back out here, so you're going to be out here with me. Thanks so very much for checking in. Again, vinceswoodandwonders.com. Thanks so much.